Oh, look, there's Faith.
Hello. Maybe. She's not so sure yet.
She might be here.
She might be here. She's
I
a
like
black
your little
hole.
music.
Thank you. Thank you. I was like, I needed a good pep up intro. We might even have to do it over because I'm getting confirmation. It has stopped recording. Oh, there she is. Yay! Okay, let me confirm that it's live on Facebook before we get going too much.
I see it went live, but I don't see the intro that went.
It'll be fine. They've heard the intro before. Okay, so welcome to TCS podcast. A little bit of, sorry we're a little late. We had some technical issues. I'm at Shelly's desk today. So it is podcast 13. And our topic today that I wanted to cover was how to manage employees while protecting your business standards and not creating that environment of chaos, but creating an environment that you're going to be able to scale. So like we talked about it when before we actually got on, was just if you're going to do something, imagine that times 10, or if you were 10 times larger than you are, is that a good decision? So every decision that you make as far as creating those standards for your business, and this podcast is specifically targeted towards how to manage your employees and even how to manage your customers so you don't get yourself in a pickle. I'm Holly Moore, the owner and founder of the cleaning software. I also have a residential cleaning service named Maids and More, and we've been going for the past 17 years. We have over 150 cleaners and probably about 170 employees. So if anybody's been there, done it, and screwed it up, that's me. So, and I definitely have made a lot of mistakes that I wish I hadn't along the future or in the past. So I will definitely be discussing some of those. But more importantly, I have super special guest, one who has internet issues. So we'll introduce her in a minute. But I have Jen Rogers here. I want her to introduce herself. And then I also have Nicole. Did I say it right? Kalb? Is that how you say it? Kalb. And I want you to tell us about your cleaning service. And then you guys also have a podcast that I am a secret stalker fan of. I think it's hysterical. I love you, girls.
You and 7 others.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I don't think anybody watches mine either. But then occasionally somebody will be like, oh, I loved your podcast on this. And I'm like, oh my gosh, somebody's watching them. So there is hope. I watch them. I think they're hysterical. So, and it's called Our Business Shenanigans. And so they talk on this. They talk on a lot of great subjects just like this all the time. And then I have Faith Maldonado, who's having internet issues, and she'll be out in a second with Orange Appeal Cleaning. She's also technical and payroll specialist help and works for the cleaning software. So without further ado, Nicole, you go first with your introduction. Just tell us about your company, how many years you've had it, and maybe your like a motto or culture that, or an explanation of your culture and how you run your business.
So, hi, I'm Nicole Kalb, and we've been in business. I'm Paragon Cleaning. We service the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. We've been in business since 2017. I started out as a solo cleaner, tons of burnout. I mean, working 70 hours a week, and I mean, my car got repoed once, you name it. So I was still paying bills by the penny, and I was like, this isn't going to work. So my love for cleaning has transitioned. So I used to be super passionate about cleaning. It's therapeutic, but now I find that same love into leadership for my team. So I love building up. I feel like we have a greater reach amongst our community when it's a team versus just me. So our motto is your health and home matter to us. And we take that to heart. So everything we do is revolved around serving our community.
I love that. Yeah, you cannot build and scale without having a community of awesome people behind you. Can't always do it yourself. I see a lot of control freak coverers out there, and it's so important to let go and build upon your team. There's Faith.
Again. I know.
Okay,
here we are.
Jen gets to go next.
Let's hope it sticks this time.
We're just giving an introduction of you yourself, your company, how many years you've been in business, and kind of what's your employee culture, company culture.
Yeah, so I am Jen Rogers. I'm the founder and CEO of Just Peachy Clean in Daytona Beach, Florida. We cover all of coastal Volusia County and just recently started spreading into DeLand a little bit, which I love. We've been in business now for just over 11 years. I call myself an accidental entrepreneur. I did not start a cleaning business to start a cleaning business. I started a cleaning business because I had to put food on the table and I had to pay the bills. So, since then, it has grown and morphed into something I never expected. We currently have I think 16 full-time cleaning technicians. We've got 2 office staff. We've got like 3 more ready to onboard next week. So super exciting growth that we're seeing. And I just love it. I've got a passion for small businesses because like you said, along this ride, I've made lots of mistakes. And if I can help share my story or mine and Nicole's story to help somebody else out so they don't make that mistake, then I'm more than happy to do so.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yep. Educating and empowering the cleaning industry. We're all in it together. I was a school teacher before I did this, and it was like,
Oh, wow.
we all, it's kind of like classroom management, but on an adult level. So, but
Sometimes.
yeah, exactly. But just educate, that's how teachers worked. We worked as a community, educating and empowering each other. Like, here, this is what I did in my classroom. Why don't you use it in your classroom? It's no different. We're not, we're not competitors. We need to be here to help each other out in the industry and be more successful as a group. So, Faith, it's your turn.
Well, hi, my name is Faith, and my cleaning company is called Orange Appeal, and we are in East Texas. So there's Dallas, right the border of Louisiana, Shreveport, and then we are right in the middle in there. So that's the far side of Texas over there. Nicole always jokes that it takes days to drive across Texas, and it's true on there.
Yep.
But we have a small cleaning company in Tyler, and I've been in the cleaning industry for, I just calculated it, 18 years. But because I was a solo cleaner forever. But then we created our company and became official, as everyone likes to say, in 2020. So we are one of those pop-up COVID cleaning companies where we decided to just do the thing in 2020. So me and my husband run the company together, and we have the employees, and we are all about having fun, but still keeping things simple, streamlined, and just, can we say, common sense driven with things that we don't want to overcomplicate. So that's one of our focal points in anything we do in our company is just keep things simple and direct on there. Don't sugarcoat it.
Awesome. Well, let's jump right into what we're talking about. This is what
Let's do it.
Faith works with the cleaning software. She's a payroll specialist, and then we of course have hundreds of cleaning companies that we work with on the daily, and we see the struggles that they go through. And this is a lot of the struggle that I see is like, oh, I can't do it this way because this employee has to have it this way, or this employee has to have it that way, or this customer has to have it this way, or she'll quit. And I feel like everybody is walking around on eggshells trying to please. I mean, we're women, right? So we have that urge to want to please people all the time. That's in our nature. Even dudes have it too. Sorry guys, if y'all are out there. But just walking on eggshells trying to please everybody and learning how to balance that is really tough. But you've got to learn how to do it, because who is running your cleaning business, Faith? Nicole? Are your employees running it, or your customers running it?
Right.
Or are you running it?
Right.
I see like almost 50% of the people I talk to on the daily, I have to ask that exact same question. Like, who is in charge here? Like, are your customers running your business? Is your employee running your business? Why are you making exceptions here and there and there? Because if the exceptions pile up, dude, you're going to create mass chaos, and you're never going to be able to scale because it's this, that, or the other. So I just wanted to kind of leave it like open, and from you guys, I know y'all are part of a coaching program, and y'all hear people's problems a lot, and about this particular topic of walking on eggshells, trying to please their staff. And what do you hear some cleaning companies say that they struggle with on the daily that are very specific to that topic of letting their employees or customers run their business?
One thing I hear a lot is kind of also where we all have been also is that as our cleaning companies grow, we tend to have to be a little bit tighter on some of our policies, maybe our attendance, maybe when we arrive to the job, maybe the cleaning products we use, different things. Sometimes when we start a company and hire people, then it's, they're cleaning the house and it's great and the customers love it. And then we hire another employee and we learn that not everybody does everything the same in there. And it's not necessarily they're cleaning wrong, it's just differently than somebody else. So it can be a little funky and we have to kind of hone in that. And then our employees tend to say, but we always used to do it this way. I don't like doing this way. So maybe we can share some of our experiences with something that we had to like bring in or hone in, that because that's something I notice a lot, is that it's when as you get bigger you tend to have to tighten up on the how-tos of things so that everyone's on the same page on there. I know for us we had to do a time off request. We had to put that a limitation on that and said, hey, we have to know by this day or 2 weeks notice so that we can plan for the schedule. I can't just wake up anymore and adjust something really quick. That goes crazy after a while. So then it's having to create those habits and train our employees on a new habit in there that we didn't have to do before. And then it's hard on there, and it's change. Nobody likes change on there. Usually the only change we like to do is rearrange the living room because it's fun. But then we have policy changes, and those can be hard to translate with, well, why do I have to do that? I never had to do that before. You don't have attendance problems with me, but we do with somebody else. So laying down the foundation of what's happening moving forward. It's not that it was bad before, but moving forward, we have to do things differently on here. And it can be hard to, I think, for employees to feel heard in that, but also for us, the owners, to say, yes, I hear you, but we're still moving forward with this.
So you said time off request change form. I mean, I know when we implemented that, here's what I see a lot of people do. Like they'll run in and be like, I need Monday off, or
Right.
I have an appointment next Thursday. And then you're doing this schedule and you're just like, blah, 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 blah. And then you put them on the schedule. And guess what? Like, well, I forgot you told me that. Like there has to be a procedure, like, no, here's the form. You have to fill it out, whether it be a Google Doc or an old school paper form. It doesn't matter. You're filling out a form, and the form has to be processed so that it goes through the system so that you get it on the schedule so that you know not to schedule them. And that form has a deadline. If they do not turn that form in time, do you say, no, you cannot have this day off because you did not submit it in time? Or do you give them like one warning? How do you handle that when they, first of all, how do you handle it when they like randomly tell you they want off? And then two, how do you handle it when they get the form in late or they don't? What is your policy?
For us, if they take it off, it's considered unexcused. So as long as they give us 2 weeks notice, they do it the proper way through our CRM and through notifying the office the way they're supposed to. As long as we have 2 weeks notice, we have unlimited pre-approved time off. So whatever you want to do, our policy is, because thanks to Nicole, no more than 20% of our staff off at the same time. So if there's already somebody off, it's going to get denied. And if you don't give us enough time, it's going to get denied. So if you still decide to take that day off, it is considered an unexcused absence in our company.
How many unexcused absences do you allow?
We do 4 every 6 months.
4 every 6 months.
Yep.
No more than 2 a quarter is what we do.
What if they're excused? They are unlimited? Like as long as they've taken the responsibility?
We don't have excused absences.
Neither do we. My thought process is, so if you're sick and it's like 5 days, what have you, that's considered an occurrence. So it just count as one. But my thought process is, and the way I explain it to my team, is you don't get unlimited sick days and then 8, I just didn't feel like coming to work days. Because that's essentially what it would be. So with that being said, you get 8, which I feel like most companies are 6 or less, unexcused absences within a year span. If you are sick more than 8 times, then there is something maybe more concerning with your health, and maybe you should be focusing on that instead of work.
Or this might not be the job for you. This is a hard job. What we do is hard work. So if you're having to take off that much time for whatever reason, maybe this is not the job for you. And that's okay. We want you to find a job that you're going to thrive at, but this just may not be it.
That's funny.
I've had
I remember
employees that would
whenever-
request
oh,
off
go ahead.
like one day a month for a mental health day. And that's when they would do like their doctor's appointments and things like that. But I knew in advance. I was able to approve it. It
Yep.
wasn't a call out. So if you need that, take that. We will honor that. But it hurts the clients and the sales team and the scheduler when I'm rushing to fill this spot so everyone has a full schedule and a full paycheck, and then someone calls out and I have to call a client, bump them. They might fire us, you know, because they have a party or whatever, needed a cleaning, and we
Or
were
the rest of the
unreliable.
team.
Or
The rest of the team is
team's
working late.
late, and then they're going to hate their job. There's just so much of a ripple effect from that chaos. So eliminate it. If you tell me more than 2 weeks in advance, we'll probably approve it. But when it's less than 2 weeks, no matter what it is, it's unexcused.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. The chaos of the morning call-ins, like when you can't, like you're not in control of your business, and your business is being ran by somebody else. When you go to sleep at night and you can't freaking sleep, that or you have to drink maybe 4 glasses of wine instead of 3. Because you just know that phone is going to ring in the morning and your life is going to be a disaster, and you're rescheduling people and you're just bloop, 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 and it's freaking nightmare. So that's when you know, hey, I need to get a policy and I need to stick to it. And it doesn't matter whether maybe one of your cleaners is your sister. You cannot let your sister do what you're like, oh, it's okay, it's just my sister, because then the whole thing falls apart. I was laughing at Jen and Nikki or Nicole because was it Nicole says she's the mean one and Jen says she's the nice one. And when I hear them like getting spats back and forth, I'm like, oh, that's me. I'm the nice one. And Faith is like, nope. But
anytime I bring a problem to Nicole, she's like, "Are you serious? Why are you even asking me that? Just fire the person." I'm like, let's slow down and look at it a little bit more.
Nicole
please.
has a really good question that Jen told us the other day. That Nicole, what do you always ask Jen if this
When
happens?
something happens, one of my first things that I taught my office manager is to remove the bias. Is when something happens, ask yourself, if everyone on the team did this, would it create chaos? And if the answer is yes, then we need to act on it head first.
Right.
You know, leaving a cleaning product or a broom or what have you at a house, that's not the chaos that would be detrimental to the day. But hey, I left my vacuum at home or what have you, I need to run and go grab it. That would be. So, you know, things like that.
Yep.
Or if you have somebody who is habitually calling out, they are creating chaos all the time. Or you've got that technician that's like, oh, I don't want to do this house anymore. I don't really care for, their pets. I don't really care for the client or whatever. Not that the client did anything wrong. They just don't like the house anymore. As terrible as it sounds, in this business, you don't get to pick and choose. You either want a full schedule or you don't. Obviously, if there are extenuating circumstances and the homeowner is being abusive, or, it is a terrible house every single time you go, it's a dirt code 10 or whatever, then it needs to be reevaluated. But if you're just saying, I don't want to clean this house because you don't like their animals and their animals aren't really doing anything to you, they're just there, it's a lot of dog hair, that's also not okay. That's chaos.
We hired a girl and in training on like her second day, she was upset and was almost shaking and was freaking out because a client was home. And afterwards she was like, I would prefer to go to houses where there's no men at all. And she was with a trainer, mind you, and like the guy's kid was there, you name it. And she said, I don't want to, and I get that. Like, I understand, but I cannot tell my clients you can't be home when we clean your house.
Right.
I can't. So it was like, this isn't going to work. And that, we didn't want to let her go because we liked her as a person, but it wasn't a good fit for her if she was on that. So if she had that much anxiety in that moment, we did the right thing by pulling the plug for her.
And that's the point where we always make excuses. And every time I've said this and I've made exceptions, I always eat it later. Like, I should have listened to myself the first time. Like, like you just immediately said that's not going to work. But if it was somebody you really liked and she was an amazing cleaner and this other customer was going to quit if she didn't have her, then you like start to make exceptions and be like, oh, okay, I know there's not a dude at this house, so I can send her here. And then all of a sudden you're scheduling your entire company around this one person who can't go to a house with men in it. And then you're like, we get to that point because when we're desperate and we're wanting to build our business, we do that kind of stuff. And you cannot if you don't want to scale. And you get in the habit of it and then you continue and continue to do it. It's like having a boyfriend who you know you need to kick to the curb, but man, it's convenient not to be alone.
Yeah, we call that being held hostage. You're being held hostage either by that technician or by that client who is threatening to cancel or whatever. And like you said in the beginning, whose business is it? Is it my business, or is it the client's business, or is it the technician's business? We make policies to protect the business, to protect our technicians, and to protect the client. They are all there for a reason.
And employees and customers are just as bad about doing this as employees. The
Yeah.
customers can create massive amounts of chaos. And you just kind of got to get to the point where you're like, I can't do that because I have a uniformed, okay, give me an example of like a customer trying to ask you to do something crazy. Like, oh, I want you to use my cleaning products.
Right.
I mean, okay, for people under companies under maybe 15, 10 employees, that's doable, right? But when you start to scale up into 30, 40, 50, 60 employees, they're trained to use your products and your chemicals. And if you just run around and like pick up her or Bona is probably a bad one, but Lysol, and start using it everywhere improperly, then she's going to be calling you with 1,000 complaints. Well, I have film on my floor, or blah, blah, blah. And so you eventually just have to hold your ground and say, I am sorry, but we have to use our chemicals. They are, that's what they're trained on. That's what we have to use. They don't know how to use yours, and I can't accept the liability of using other products that they're not trained on. And
well, not only that, but you have to provide the safety data sheets, especially as you grow as a company, you become a bigger target. And if you're not providing that stuff, and God forbid the technician injures themselves on whatever they're using at that client's house, and they don't have the safety data sheets, that comes back on you. That doesn't go back on the technician or the homeowner. That's the business owner's responsibility.
And that's a good tactic to use, like blame it on OSHA, blame it on your software, blame it on something, like make it look like it's not you not being flexible. It's
right.
Like give them a specific, legitimate, factual reason. And they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then if they're still reluctant, you can always say, well, let's just try it, and then we just see what you think about our products. You might really love them. And then a lot of times after you never hear from them again. But just go through many steps. Just don't hang up the phone and say, I'm going to fire them. Explain the reason.
Exactly.
Right.
Explain the reason why. Then they get it. Then try it out with your products and then moving on. But even using their own products is a bad problem.
It is. And even we have gone as far as like, we have a waiver that if they are adamant that we have to use XYZ cleaner on something in their house, because that's what the flooring guy told them, we have a waiver that they have to sign. They have to provide us with the SDS sheets, and they have to be there to train the technician on how to use that product on their surfaces.
And then they're like, never mind.
Yep. Every single time.
Yeah.
Very rarely do they go, okay, yeah, let me get you that information.
You know what the worst request is?
Oh,
will you use my rainbow vacuum? No, I will not carry around this 100-pound vacuum that's going to spill water everywhere. Whoever thought it was a good idea to mix water and electricity, I just hope that they have the day that they deserve. Because, like, I'm sorry. We had a client that wanted to fire us because we use Protein backpack vacuums, which Protein should sponsor me. But we loved them, and she was very upset, did a flashlight test to see if it would kick back any dust or allergens, because 10, 15 years ago, a Rainbow consultant did some flashlight tests to show her how much dust her vacuum was spitting out, and she was furious that ours did not. She was like, well, I paid over $2,000. I'm sorry that you took out a loan on this vacuum. That's not my problem. I'm not tugging it up and down your stairs anymore. I'm not.
No.
And that's just some of the chaos. I know this one's for employee chaos, but you have to, I think the biggest way to eliminate employee chaos is to honor your staff. And to honor your staff, it's all full circle moment. You have to offer consistency and make sure that you are giving them the keys to success. I can't send you to one house and say, hey, water their plants, and then send you to another house and say, fold their laundry and put it away, but then get mad if you do it at the wrong house. So you have to, that's why checklists are so important. Before a checklist and
Job
detailed
notes.
work order notes. Yeah. Before job notes, things like that. There was so much that if someone took off and someone filled in for their spot at their place, we found that we would get complaints. And it's not that anyone did anything wrong. It's that the fill-in tech was set up for failure the moment they walked in the door because she didn't know all the extras that you were doing every week. So because you went on vacation, now your clients fired us because we sent a replacement or what have you, the chaos. And it's all because that cleaner didn't follow a checklist or they were doing extras or you name it. So that's why we're so adamant that this is our checklist. If you're going to do if the home needs anything more, it needs to be detailed in the notes or charged appropriately. But we would be setting up our teammates for failure if they go and they didn't do that particular thing that's just not standard on the checklist. And I think that setting our team up for success with consistency and detailed notes, like that's one thing I stress in my office all the time is with my office. I'm like, these notes, I'll look at them and say, these don't make sense. I would be upset if I was a technician and I walked in the house and these were my notes. And we're always cleaning them up, trying to make them clear and concise, because if I'm giving you the keys for success, then you can succeed, right? But when you set them up for failure, that's when you can create resentment, right? It can mess with your morale.
And morale problems. That's when yeah.
We've had that issue exactly recently when we had when we lost an employee, and the notes were not kept up with the house. And I mean, she was doing extras. We've all had that happen where an employee is doing extras for the customer and the office doesn't know about it. And when she left, of course, we had other technicians that could go to that customer, and the customers were a little surprised that the cleaning was different now. And our technicians were not upset at us, the office. They were frustrated that they had to not confront, but like have a talk in a sense with the customer, like, oh, I don't see that in your notes. Let me let the office know and we can update this. Like it caused, like Nicole just said, it caused some frustration on the technicians that this is different. Like this is weird. This is not my normal routine work. I don't know what's going on, but let me call the office and see on there. And our employees don't necessarily, your employees will don't normally want to have those conversations with the customers. That's why they work for a company that'll have those difficult conversations with them. So like Nicole said, it's not just the office being bossy and wanting the notes right. It's that it's company morale. It's everybody knows that whoever's coming to clean the house, we all do it the same way. The customer loves all of us. We had a customer turn away our technician at the door, saying, no, you don't clean like my other cleaner did. I want you to go home and do not ever come back here. And the employee called us like crying, like this customer just turned me away. What is going on there? So we've had to go back with the Band-Aid and fix things from that, just from a technician not following the process we already had in place and us holding to it on there. But it also, in a sense, on the reverse, it helped our company morale. It's like, yes, you too, you get frustrated. We are all teaming up now and keeping up the notes for one another, because now we've all had that pain of being turned away from the client because of the shortcoming from a teammate. So it helps everybody all around, just all come together. We're all on the same page. I joke that there's a triangle. It's the communication triangle, and it's the office at the top, and it's the customer and the employee. These two, it's hello, how's your day going? Your dog is so cute. That's great. But up here, it's all about money. It's all about schedule changes. It's all about pricing. It's all about add-ons, adjustments, because the office updates the notes for the employees on there. So it's always the office at the top on there.
Same way, like,
well, because if not, then you're, I was just going to say, if not, then your staff gets abused by your clients, because clients are notorious for trying to take advantage of the cleaners. Oh, you can just hand wipe all my baseboards just this one time. It's not going to be that big of a deal. Or, can't you just throw in my oven today, or just, clean the door today, and then next week you can do the rest of the oven or whatever. It doesn't add that much time. And that's not fair for our technicians, because then they're working free, and that's not fair to them.
Right.
Yeah. The employees should have a response of, I'm sorry, I can only do what I have on this work order. However, if you want to add something, just call the office and let them know. And then the customer at the same time needs to know, if they call and complain, be like, she didn't clip my oven this time, be like, oh, you didn't communicate through the office. Unless you communicate through the office, you are not, I'm not going to come back to re-clean that because I didn't know. Well, I told your person, well, in my customer policies and procedures, when you signed the quote, it said you must communicate with the office. Otherwise, there is no guarantee that the work will get done. So just sticking to that freaking over and over and over again, and getting it set up and helping the customers and the employees understand the why. I've learned people are why people. Like, why? I mean, it's kind of annoying. I'm like, why? Because I'm the boss. When your kids ask me, like, why? And I'm like, because I said so.
Right.
But,
which is like with a company saying why, and you answer because it's the policy. That's not a valid answer. Like, why can't you do this? Because OSHA won't allow us to do that. It is in the best interest of our technicians. They can't use bleach. It's not safe for them. Whatever the case may be, like explaining, listen, we're a company who runs legally, ethically, and responsibly. We have to follow OSHA standards. We have to follow rules and regulations that are put out there by, far bigger organizations than just our own.
Yeah. And y'all got on the topic earlier about, that's one of the most common things that I see when I'm working with cleaning companies, helping with schedule and getting them very first set up. They're like, this drives me insane. And I guess this is like a ranting podcast. I'm sorry. I didn't realize how much I needed to vent. This is really helping. It's really helping me today. Like, whenever they were like, oh, I can't put that house with this girl. She doesn't like Miss Susanna because she's got a dog. Or, oh, this girl can't do this job. And I'm like, why? And they're like, oh, she refuses to do it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, who on earth is going to, you get the good, you get the bad. How do you guys I know you had mentioned, Jen, how you handle, like, I don't want that house, or don't give me that house again. I see so many cleaning service owners fold and then make sure that she doesn't get that house again. What do you say to your employees when they say that?
So for us, if you tell us that you don't want to do a house, I will take it off of you, but we're not going to work hard to fill it because you had a job on your schedule. If there is no valid reason for you to not want that house, it's just because you don't like that there's so much dog hair, or you don't like that they're, the dogs might jump on you and greet you, and they're, not aggressive. They're just happy to see you. Then I'm not going to overwork my salesperson to fill that next house, because what if you have an issue with that next house too? So you'll get another job when we have a job to put on there, but you can't complain about not having a full schedule if you are telling me there are houses you don't want to do.
Nicole, what do you say?
The biggest thing I think to avoid that people forget, that keeps replaying back in my head, when you were talking about basically bending your rules and making exceptions, right? The best advice I could ever give anyone is create your outline, create your basics of what you need. So I need full-time, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, you name it. Like, those are very specific basics of what you need to fill that seat, right? So you map out the position and then you fill the seat with who fits it. Don't interview a bunch of people and say, well, she needs off Fridays and she's got to get off early on Wednesday. She's got to get her kid off of the bus. You name it. That is where the chaos comes. Keep it clear and consistent. These are my requirements for the job. Create an employee avatar of what that looks like, and then find the people that fit that. They exist as long as you're not, requiring a master's degree and, all these things that aren't relevant to the job, but the basics, you have to have a driver's license, yada, yada, yada. Create that and then find the people that fit that, because it'll make your scheduler's life so much easier, your managers, your customers, you name it. it will make everything so much easier when your bare minimum of everybody has the same hours and the same days.
Agreed. I think we switched to that where it was like, nope, we only hire full time available Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. If that's not you, then we don't hire. That's what we have to have. And man, that got a whole lot easier because the spreadsheet that we used to have with like, so and so can't work Mondays. This so and so has to be off at 3, and we're trying to put this giant Sudoku puzzle of 100, in our case, 200 houses a day together. It's like, nope. But if I knew everybody worked from 8 to 5, unless a time off request is filled out 7 days in advance. I know what I got and I know how many hours I can expect. And as far as them choosing their own houses, I'm like, you get what you get or you don't throw a fit, period. You take the good with the bad or you get nothing at all. I will remove you off of the schedule and you will have no work. Unless, of course, it's a legitimate reason. Like I have had legitimate reasons where I've usually, if I have to take it off of one person's schedule because of a legitimate reason, I'm usually firing the customer. I tend to always be on the employee side more than I do the customer side. So, and they need to know that. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to fire this customer and the employee, the company is going to take a loss. You're going to hurt the team, the company, everything. Are you sure that it is that bad that we need to fire them? And then I will, let them go. I have a question on the opposite end of that. What about customers who say, I don't want Faith anymore. I don't like the way she vacuums my carpet. Don't ever send me her again. How many of those do y'all tolerate with customers?
We request that we can use as a teaching moment because we want everyone trained to the same standard. So if they were lacking in one area, like we first thank you for this feedback. This helps us make the consistency that you're used to and you love. Or is it okay with you if we make this a re-clean so that we can use it as a teaching moment because we would love to train Faith up to that standard? They usually say yes. And we do have like a few situations where a tech might bomb a job or it's just not a good fit. I always joke that we're matchmakers because we could have some cleaners that they're just good, right? They're good at what they do. And the particular clients don't love them, or some clients absolutely adore them. So it's like we're matchmakers. Like, okay, good is good with her, but we need excellent with her, but we don't have anybody that's bad on our team. Someone that's bad probably doesn't have a seat with us.
Exactly.
We've done similar to how Nicole is. We'll use it asking the customer. I spent 20 minutes one time on the phone when a customer called me and said, don't ever send her back to my house. I just wasn't happy. She was very sweet, but just don't ever send her back. And it was 20 minutes of just going through every room. And I said, what about this? What about this? We just figured out that one cleaner did not dry the shower walls. And that was her pet peeve. She had 4 other cleaners and they all did that, but this one did not. And I said, you know what? That's actually not even in our checklist. Thank you for letting me know that. Let me just update your notes for your house that we make sure that's a priority for you, that your walls are dried on there. And for the past 8 months, she's loved having that same technician that she refused to have back in her house. So it was just having that conversation of caring, hearing her, listening, and hearing what was it? Did the cleaner leave and not say goodbye? And that felt like rude? Was it a technique? What was it? We've also done where we may not send that technician back to the house. We understand why it was not a good fit. Like Nicole says, in matchmaking, not a good fit on there. But we've taken that issue and talked about it with that cleaner and checked other houses to see if that was an ongoing issue in other houses as well. Maybe it was a technique. Maybe they weren't cleaning correctly. Maybe their etiquette wasn't quite good. This is employees. We've had to talk about wearing deodorant when you clean, hygiene and all the little things that we didn't know we had to tell employees sometimes. But that was one of them with one of our employees. She was super great, awesome. And the client requested she not come back, mainly because of body odor. And we talked with that employee about it, and our other customers didn't have an issue, and it was addressed. But we also did not send the technician back, just out of respect for the customer. We understood all that. So we've taken all three angles from it, but it's just having that conversation with the customer and not just saying, oh yes, absolutely, I will never send her back, you pay too much, you pay $300 every visit every week and an extra cleaning once in a while. I'm absolutely, it's like, if that customer is causing you to cringe, then it's like Jen said, is holding you hostage, and just sometimes the money's not worth it just for your employees sanity.
Yeah. So what's
Yeah.
your so
We
what I'm
do
hearing-
very similar.
No, you go. Sorry.
I was gonna say we just do very similar. The only difference is that I truly believe that sometimes personalities just don't mesh. Like there are sometimes a client just doesn't mesh well with a personality, and that goes back to that matchmaker thing. And I am okay with assigning another tech. Now, if it becomes a repeated thing where the next person we send, they're like, oh, don't ever send that person back. And then the next person, oh, then that's not an us issue, that's a them issue. And yes, not all money is good money. So that might not be the perfect fit for us. But they are paying for a service. So I want them to be comfortable with who we are sending in their house. So if they're not comfortable with that tech for whatever reason, even after we've addressed, things that have been missed or issues or whatever, then I'm okay with, sending a different tech the next time.
What I'm hearing though from all of you guys is you don't just immediately snapshot and change it and bow down to whatever they say. I mean, all of us are strong alpha, most of the time when you're business owners. Y'all are just immediately changing it because they said so. You're trying to work through it, trying to get them to see your point of view before you just bolt. And I see
right, and try to fix the problem, because if it's a genuine problem at your house, then it might be a genuine problem everywhere. So tell me what this person is not doing at your house, so I know we can address it and make sure that it's covered at the other houses as well.
Sometimes it's not a policy problem, it's a people problem. On there, and it's just learning to recognize which is which. Oh, did I make this policy that really could not be followed? Like there's no way I really realistically could expect this to be done. Or is the policy good and I need to build a team and a culture that will support one another to follow it on there.
Exactly. So wherever there's a problem, there's an opportunity for a procedure and policy to be in place. Like for instance, if you don't, I better not use that one. Whatever. You walk in and you see a naked person, and if you're like, oh crap, that's never happened before. That's a major problem. Like, okay, let's create a
no nudity policy.
That procedure, and we may have totally screwed it up the first time. We may have embarrassingly called the wrong guy, and it may not have been the owner. It was I don't know. Who knows what happens, And so you get into pickles like that where a crazy situation happens and you're like, I don't have any kind of steps that tell us how to handle that. And the girls wouldn't know either. So it's okay to run into those, but every time you run into them, that's the opportunity to create and train and put it in your playbook of, ooh, we need to address that. So that you know what to do when it happens the next time. So I have this is one of my favorite questions. So you're sitting in an interview, or maybe it's the first week of work. Do you have red flags for someone that you can just see is going to create chaos, that's not going to be a good fit for your company culture? What are your red flags?
Hold on. Jen cannot answer this. Jen, you can sit this one out. Actually, Jen,
this is unfiltered. You can do whatever you want here. We want to hear the truth.
No, it's because I don't see red flags.
No, she collects them. So, Jen, please get a pen and some paper and take some notes.
For those who don't know, Jen is probably the most giving person on the planet. And she has to remind me and Nicole to be nice and compassionate to people because we are all human.
That's true.
One time was like this person I interviewed, he was okay, does his background check, and he's got like murder charges.
No, it wasn't murder charges, but there were 21 charges, and it was domestic abuse with strangulation, resisting arrest with violence, all of these things. And I was like, well, he totally had me fooled. I don't understand what happened.
But he interviewed great because he has a lot of domestic violence cases. He dated great.
Okay, so criminal
So-
record, red flag, got it.
Yes. So criminal record,
Yes.
but so for us, when you have, how do I say this? When every job was the problem, and when they say negative things about a previous job, there's healthy ways to go about it. You could just say, I'm just looking for different opportunities. Those I respect. But when you are trash talking your previous employer or your coworkers,
Yes.
you're probably the problem, because you probably, if you were comfortable enough to do that with me, you're going to do it there. Cursing in the interview. If you're going to curse with me and this is your best foot forward, what are you going to do in the client's house that you're comfortable with? You're going to curse. Presentation.
Showing
if
up
there's-
reeking of pot.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Or
Yeah.
cigarette. What do y'all do about, I mean, it's legal to smoke, totally legal to smoke, or even vape. So what do you do when an employee walks in and reeks of cigarette smoke?
We have a talk with them, because if you're smoking
Mhm.
in your car, your equipment's going to smell like it. And we clean for cancer patients. We clean for so many people that would turn them off. We've actually had clients specifically say, I don't want smokers. I don't care if you smoke, but I feel like this boils down to hygiene and presentation, right? I can't walk into a client's house with my caddy stuffed with dirty towels and looking a hot mess, and this person feeling like I'm going to take care of their home. It's all about presentation and that first impression. Other red flags. There's so
I know
many.
a red flag we look for, like we talked about with interviews, but like during training and also just shortly after training, the blame game. When they make a mistake, do they take accountability for it, or do they blame the trainer or who they worked with, or say, well, I didn't know to do that? If they're saying that, well, I just didn't know that's what we do, then they're being defensive. If they're asking, oh, I didn't know we did that, can you show me what to do, let me learn more, then that means they want to learn. But if they're immediately defensive on there, that's a huge red flag. We had one who interviewed great, got her into training and went through training, and her first house out of training just went downhill, was not good. It was my house. And I talked with her about it. There were a couple things that were missed. And she immediately said, well, my trainer never told me that. And I need for you to train me, because my trainer did a horrible job training me. And I didn't even learn anything from her. So I don't know what you would expect. I had a very good come to Jesus talk with her that I will discuss all that with her trainer. But at the end of the day, this is the feedback from that job.
Yeah.
So
taking
we have
accountability.
We
Yep.
have a form that they have to fill out, that the trainer fills out at the end of training, and that the trainee fills out when they're a trainer, to grade their trainer. And I had a technician one time, it was like her third time, she's like, well, my trainer, da 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 da. I went to her folder, pulled out that sheet, and said, that's funny, because on your trainer evaluation, you said your trainer was great, she did a great job, taught you a lot, you name it. Why weren't any of these concerns? Why didn't you feel like the gaps were addressed then when we asked you? Because we wouldn't have given you an apron and a schedule had we not known that there was something missing. So that's how we kind of.
I like it.
We also
You had that. You have a policy and procedure in place to document that. We do the exact same thing, and that's, you always go back.
We've implemented
we also do that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
We do the same evaluation, and we also do it 30 days later, because sometimes right out of training, they don't know what they don't know. And so
Right.
they get out there and then they're starting to work on something, and they go, oh, wait, nobody ever showed me how to do this. So we have them do it right out of training, but then we have them do it 30 days later, because now they can step back and really go, oh, wait, no, I never learned what this was. I don't know how to use a pumice stone. I was never shown this, but they didn't know that at the time because it hadn't come up.
We
good. I'm
really
writing that
work to create a culture where we learn. We're always learning. We're always asking. We encourage ours. Put it in our group team chat. If you don't know, put it in there. I promise we are all going to hop on to support you in it. And we've had them where they say, I didn't know how to clean this. I didn't know what to do. And I said, put a picture in the group chat. And immediately, like, our trainers will pop up on there. Yes, use this tool, let it sit for a second, and then scrub it off on there. So we don't ever want an employee, old or new, to feel alone. because whether your company is solos or in teams, at some point you are there alone and it's just you and the bathtub and it's not coming up. Who's going to
Right.
help me here? Do I go and ask the person who's on a team with me, or do I just try to do it and get it over with to get out of the bathroom? You want to go ask your teammate.
Clearly, you just grab the toilet bowl cleaner and douse the tub in toilet bowl cleaner. I mean,
Right.
that's how everybody
Yep.
cleans it, right?
Or
Do
the
not
kitchen
hire that
counter. Who
company.
knows?
That was a
Yeah.
joke, by the way, for every cleaning company. Listen, that was a joke. Please do not use toilet bowl cleaner anywhere but the toilet bowl, ever.
I've already clipped it and put it on TikTok. You're getting
Oh yes,
canceled.
it's happening. I think the main thing is that we just to kind of change the subject is that we are all scared to do. We know what we should do, but this is why we don't do it. We don't do it because I'm like, well, I know I should fire that person. I know I shouldn't let her be running my business, but just maybe a couple or more days because I don't know how I'm going to get all the work done if I fire her. That you should always, my solution to that is it's like, I don't know. I'm in Texas, so I can say that. It's like your gun is loaded full of people and to get the jobs done. But you always need spare bullets on the side. So you do not have to worry about I can't fire anybody because I can't get it done. So the answer to that is not, okay, let's put up with her for another week. The answer is fire her when it's right, when it's supposed to be done, and don't look back. You can always reschedule customers. Shoot, I'll go out and clean myself before I let somebody run my business and tell me what to do. So the answer to that is start hiring more people so you have extra bullets. Yes. Don't just let them walk over you.
Even if you're not hiring, you have to still be recruiting so that you have got people on the bench to when you have that technician that is, pitching a fit or they're doing whatever and you need to get rid of them. You've got a bench of people you can turn back to and go, all right, we've got 5 people sitting here begging for a job. We're going to go ahead and move forward with them and we're going to cut our ties with you. Because if not, everybody else on your team sees that. So they see that one technician getting special treatment. They see that one technician getting away with murder. And then that affects all of their morale as well. So if you're not there's no point in having policies if you are not going to hold firm to your policies.
Exactly. And when they see that one go bye-bye, they're like, oh, shoot, she wasn't playing. She was not playing.
Yeah. Let me add a few things. So the best way to show grace to your teammates and to constantly be coaching is to document. Please just document it. And we have a form it's less sting up than a write-up, but it's a coaching form. Cleaning is discretionary. What you call clean and what I call clean could be 2 very different things, right? Mm-hmm. With that being said, if you have a piece of paper that says I coached you through this and we discussed and I asked you and we even check off, do you feel like you had enough training? Do you feel like you have the right tools? If they say yes, they had enough training, yes, they have the right tools, then we are documenting that we are on the same page of what cleaning expectation is at this company. What the standard is. And then when it happens a certain amount of time and I have to let you go, I'm not paying an unemployment claim because I have proof in a paper trail that I tried to coach you. And the best thing about it is when I'm coaching you, I'm teaching you, and I hope that we never have to have this conversation again, that it truly helps you succeed. It's going to help your tips. It's going to help your experience. You're not going to have recleans, you name it. So it's for everyone. And also, like we have a biweekly client that complained one visit. So we sent back for a reclean. And then our second visit, she complained again. And so 2 cleanings in a row, she had a reclean. And after some digging, I realized that the first one, we slipped and didn't do a coaching session with the technician. And I told my team, I said, I really think that if we would have did a coaching session after the first one, it would have eliminated that second back-to-back reclean. And it would have improved the customer experience. It would have improved the technician skill, you name it. And it's because we slipped. That was recent. And even going back to what like Faith was saying about being held hostage, I do not want to be held hostage in my company ever. I was actually scheduled to be induced for my son back in September. And we had a technician with the full schedule. She'd been with us for a while. Tell us it was Wednesday. I was being induced Thursday. So, I have the schedule set. It's going to be like smooth. I want to make sure my office manager was good without me, you name it. And when I was at like the end of the day, she messaged and was like, "Hey, I need off Friday morning because I have a job interview somewhere else." And I was like, we're sad to see you go. We'd love, I don't want to hold you back from that. Friday's already overbooked. Like I told her, I said, your team, it'll really hurt your teammates. Is there any way that you could schedule for another day? I could even give you off any other day next week, what have you. And she was like, no, thank you for understanding. Friday is the day that I need. And I said, screw this. The moment she said that, I was like, thank you for understanding. No, I don't understand, but okay. So I spent my last like 3 hours in the office, and I have a firm rule. When you need to cut ties with someone, do not look at the schedule. Do not look at the schedule. If you know this person has to go, you will psych yourself out if you look at the schedule. Do you know that I was able to pull her off, remove all of her master jobs, fix the schedule for the week or 2 weeks out, and only had to bump like 1 or 2 jobs to a different day?
From an overbooked day. Yeah.
And that was like through like 2 weeks that we were booked. And I looked at the schedule and I said to myself, if I would have looked at this before I made that decision, I would have psyched myself out and kept her.
Yeah.
That is being held hostage in your company.
But going back to what you said about documenting everything, the other reason that I love that is because when it comes time to fire that technician, it shouldn't be a surprise. Like you have sat down and you have coached and you have documented and you've coached and you've documented. So they have seen it coming. Like the writing has been on the wall. One of my big pet peeves, obviously, unless it's something like major, is when I, being a cleaning owner, has just finally had enough, but I've never talked to that person and they walk in and I just go, you're fired. And they had no idea it was coming because I was aggravated and I didn't voice the concerns and I didn't sit down and document it or try to coach them through it. Maybe they didn't even know they were doing something wrong and you're just internalizing it and you're getting frustrated and you just expect them to be better, but you've never done anything to help them be better. It should not be a surprise when somebody gets fired. When they are called in to be fired, they should be going, I know what's going to happen when I walk in today.
Exactly. We call them employee concern forms instead of write-ups because, hey, I have a concern. It's not really a problem, but I just need to write it down so me and you can document that we've discussed it. And then they usually take it perfect. And then we also, on the back flip side of that, have accomplishment forms. They need to know when they're doing well and it needs to be documented. Document the good stuff as well as the bad stuff. And it works really well on documentation because they can say, oh no, I've never done that. And you're like, whoop, let me get out that folder and be like, here it is, sister. And then also if you're documenting it, you can give that one exception a time or two. Like everybody gets one exception, all right, your daughter has a doctor's appointment and you forgot to tell me. I get it. We're all human. Sometimes I forget doctor's appointments too. I'm going to let you take off this one time. I'm writing it. You're going to sign it. We're putting it in there. You don't get any more free goes. That's the last time. And then, but if you're not documenting it, you'll forget that you gave her a freebie. Same way with like customers canceling all the time. You forget you gave them one freebie, but if you document it and then the next time they skip, I'm sorry, you're paying for a monthly clean because now you're monthly or you're paying a $50 skip fee. So
we have a phrase in my company. If it's not in a form, I never heard it.
Yep.
Because then am I crazy? Did they tell me? Did I forget? Oh my gosh, they texted us in the group chat or they messaged me and I forgot and it's 2 weeks later and
there's too much room for error with that.
Yeah. It's not a form. I didn't hear it.
Yep. Can't depend on my ears. Okay, y'all ready to play a fun game?
Let's do it.
Sure.
Okay, so we're not going to go through everybody because I know we are all very, like mine and Jen's answers are going to always try to be on the sweet side. And you two are just going to be like, so I'm going to do everybody else's separate would you rather. Okay, so this one's going to go to Faith. Okay, would you rather have an employee who is always 10 minutes late but never misses a day, or one who is always on time but calls in once a month?
10 minutes late. 10 minutes late does not affect my revenue too much normally.
Ooh, that's like one of the...
Because if they're always calling out, then now my revenue is under their control.
Yep.
10 minutes late, we can talk about. Maybe we'll just schedule all of her jobs 10 minutes later. That's an
Are you
arrival
making
window.
exceptions though?
Okay. Here's one. This is going to go to Nicole. Would you rather implement a strict 48-hour cancellation policy and lose a few customers, or keep things flexible and deal with a lot of last-minute cancellations?
The 48-hour policy. That's exactly what we have. And we have lost quite a bit of customers because of it. But it protects my team. And the number one thing that I've told clients straight up before, I said, look, before I had these policies, like if you want to shop around for other cleaners, you'll find other companies that don't have this policy. But I promise you, I'm going to tell you exactly what I dealt with before then. I had a high turnover. I had clients upset because they weren't seeing the same people. I had constant new faces, you name it. In order for me to retain these staff, I have to have these policies.
Right.
See, you explained the why, what we just talked about. And owners are so scared to say, hey, I'm going to have to charge you the late fee because they're scared they're going to quit. Well, as you first explain the policy and then say, I have to charge the late fee. And they're like, oh, yes, of course. A lot of times they're like agreeing with you, like, never happen again. I'm so sorry. Yes. Hey, can't do the charge fee, but some people just quit at the scared part. Okay. Let me see one for Jen.
Oh, I think you froze.
Okay. Would you rather have an employee who follows every policy exactly to the T? This is gonna be hard for you, but has a bad attitude, or someone who is positive and great and bubbly all the time with clients, but frequently tries to bend the rules?
Ugh.
That's hard.
I feel like I lean towards the second one. And that's just me as a people pleaser. At least the clients are happy or whatever. But I know that I'm doing that right now. I've got somebody on my staff right now that I should
Fire them.
have that conversation with. But that's what I would lean to. The one who's
Well,
I'd fire on both.
Well, your value is the reason why you say that is because your value is to keep your customers happy. And if the customers love her, then you get it. I think that one can get a little deeper as far as which policy she's spending. And as long as you're documenting them every time she's spending them, I think you can work with that.
This also does depend if you have a teams or a solo model too, because a bad attitude with the other teammate can create employee problems.
Correct.
On there too.
Correct.
So yeah.
And it makes the office, if the office hates dealing with them on a daily basis, you're asking for your office to call out. You're affecting your office morale, and your office is the one directly dealing with your customers and your clients. So you want to keep them happy too.
Yeah. If your office is going, oh my gosh, this person just called again and now I have to deal with them. Like that's not great.
Okay. Faith, one more round because this is fun. I love Would You Rather. Would you rather have a team who works efficiently but doesn't document anything? Because you brought this up earlier, so it's perfect. Or a slower team that follows every process to the T that's just slow?
I'll take the slower one. And I only say that because of how our company's pay structure is. It prevents that from happening. On
so
there.
You pay service ticket hours, so if it's
Mm-hmm.
if they take longer,
we pay a flat rate for the house. So if they want to speed up, that's on them. But I would rather have the documentation on there.
Fire them all.
I'm asking, this next one is Jen because I'm going with the nice version of this. I want to see what she says. I already know what Faith and Nicole are going to say, so I'm not even going to ask. Okay, would you rather refund the first time a client who misunderstood your scope, or stick to your guns and possibly get a bad review?
Okay, so in the beginning, I was definitely the first one, but I have grown way more of a backbone now, and I stick with our policies, and I have the credit card disputes to prove it.
That's why I'm laughing. The pain is real.
Well, I mean, you have vacation. One bad review can cost you thousands of dollars, like in sales, that it's not even measurable.
But I
I
have
have
a
two
different
answers
opinion.
to it.
I
Yeah.
have a different opinion of that because I don't want to use a company who only has 5-star glowing reviews. That's not realistic to me. Everybody has a bad day. I am more concerned with how the company responds to the negative reviews than that they even have a negative review, because I know if I go, we have very few 1-star reviews, and I can go and I can tell you exactly what happened with every single one of them. 3 of which are not even clients. They're disgruntled people because we didn't interview them because they walked in the door late. One is the girlfriend of a guy that we had to fire, and the other one was somebody who was mad because another one that we didn't interview. So I know what all of my bad reviews are, and I would take a bad review and be able to answer it based on the situation. We've got somebody who's mad that we didn't refund them because they didn't clearly or no, sorry, the
Understand.
one that wanted a refund because we showed up and there was no AC on. It's part of our terms and conditions. We are in Florida. The heat index over the last 2 weeks has been in the hundreds. I cannot have my team go and clean a house without AC. It's and clearly in our terms and conditions. She wanted a refund because we charged that 50% deposit, which was our lockout fee, and we're going to refund her money because our technicians still have to be paid. She has now disputed the charges. She actually never went and left us a bad review. But if she did, that would be my response. One of our core values is you matter. I can't boast that my core value is you matter if I'm telling my technicians they don't matter. They've got to go clean this house that's 90 degrees inside with no moving air. That's not fair to them.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Okay, Nicole. Would you rather build a strong team that sometimes needs hand holding? She cringed when I said hand holding. She's like,
I've had texts like that, but keep going.
or
Or-
a fully independent team that
Oh no, she froze.
Oh no. Or a fully independent team. Let's play a game trying to guess how she was going to finish that sentence.
Hand holding
Oh,
or
I had like a drum
Oh,
roll.
wait, there she is.
Today is
All
the
right.
day
Wait,
for computer
I have a
glitches.
sound
What is
effect.
happening?
What was the
And your
question?
answer
You
is?
froze. You froze.
Yeah, you
Oh,
froze.
dang. Okay. Would you
hand holding
rather have a strong team but sometimes or a lot of time needs hand holding, or you are a fully independent team that makes decisions on their own that don't need hand holding, but sometimes you don't agree with the decisions they make?
I would say the strong team with the hand holding. A quote that we say in the office all the time is, we just need them to be really good at cleaning. Everything else we can handle. They just shouldn't have to chase payments. They shouldn't have to worry about the schedule. They shouldn't have to worry about contacting the client. We just need them to be really good at cleaning. And sometimes we do have to hold their hand a little bit. But we don't want to micromanage. I would rather hold your hand and guide you because you're learning along the way than having a team that is dancing on the gray area of what's acceptable.
Yeah, or just doing whatever the hell they want to when they want
Yeah,
to.
go start your own company. Why are you here?
Okay, so this one is actually for myself, and maybe Faith can help me with this one because this is the
Boy.
question I deal with all the time, and I usually don't talk about this in this podcast because TCS's podcast is the purpose of it is to educate and empower the cleaning software. It has nothing the cleaning industry. Yeah, I'm not trying to sell you on a CRM or anything like that, but this is the question that me and her get all the time. And I think it was a good closer. It says, would you rather upgrade your CRM software and retrain the entire team, go through the transition of transitioning a CRM, or keep on your old system where you're having to do constant workarounds to make it work? So, Faith, what would you rather do?
Well, I've done it 3 times. I've switched my CRM and I told my employees deal with it. They chose to stay at this job.
Nice.
So they choose because I'm the one flipping the bill at the end of the day. It goes with anything, CRMs, mops, vacuums, anything that's in our technicians' hands that they're using. we have to decide the cost of it, the scalability of it, if we're going to do it or not on there. And if that saves our office time, yes, absolutely. I would switch anything digitally in there.
Agreed.
Agreed. I mean, there's always going to be workarounds to everything because every software is not going to have every answer you want.
Right.
There's always going to be like, oh man, I really like the two-way texting that, or oh, I really like this one and this one, right? But you got to figure out what automates you the most and what gets you away from manual tasks the most.
Right.
I think this is the most important question when you talk about scaling. I broke every software out there imaginable. And so that's why I had to create our own because I couldn't get everything done that I wanted to in the other systems that were out there. So scalability is the first thing. Like if I would say if you're in a point where you're doing a lot of workarounds, but it's not costing you any money or it's not keeping you from growing, maybe you stay. But if you're like hitting a wall because you have all these workarounds that you're doing and you can't scale and you can't grow, then it's time. Like
If you're spending all day doing
mhm.
payroll
Oh, yeah,
once a
no,
week, then it's probably time to figure out a different software.
Yeah. For sure. That's the one I get a bunch. All right, girls, that is a wrap. I don't see any other questions in the chat. I did say red flags. Anne said that red flag busybodies have a lot to say about cleaners and clients, so stay away from those. And then Anne also said, Nicole, thank you. She needed to hear that today. A cleaner just said today that she is going away for school. So
Psh,
awesome.
don't compliment Nicole. Gives her a big head.
Oh, okay,
You have the
sorry.
biggest head here.
Probably.
And then
Probably.
Anne also agreed that body odor is actually one of those awkward ones that we're so glad that she mentioned it because it actually is a thing.
Yeah.
So I agree. All right, girls. Well, thank you, Jennifer, Nicole. I can't wait to watch y'all's next podcast. And Faith, thank you so much. Sorry about your technical issues. And I was late because I had technical issues as well because I'm on.
Well, and then
not
my
normal
computer
day.
crashed halfway through. So apparently it's the
Here we
day for
are.
computer glitches.
I'm perfect.
Oh my gosh.
You-
give me a break.
Whatever.
I saw your face disappear at one point. I don't know where you went, or maybe it was somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
let's not talk about the podcast we couldn't record last week because you decided not to have internet.
It's a new day.
Oh, keep talking, Jen.
Mhm.
Hey, you girls stay on. I'm gonna stop the live stream, but I need the
Okay.
video to record. Thank you guys. Y'all have a good day. We'll see y'all next month
Bye.
at TCS.
Bye.
Podcast. Thank you. And I will tell you that